Hi everybody, this is Eric from Switched, and today we're going to be adapting the Disney Princess. Here's some tools you'll need to adapt this toy. This toy is really easy to adapt, and we'll show you exactly how to do it. So we're going to start by undressing the doll, and we're going to start on her back, and we need to remove these two screws here in her back. Once we get the battery door open, remove the batteries and it will reveal another screw that we need to remove. Now we need to remove her head, and to do this what we're going to do is we're going to heat up the rubber of her head just for a couple seconds, and that will allow us to pry it off. And that will reveal another screw that we need to remove. Once all the screws are removed, we can pry apart the two halves of the toy and go ahead and set her arms aside. We need to access this circuit board, so remove the two screws that hold it into place. On the circuit board you will find this little rubber piece that we need to remove, and we're actually going to solder our wires to that disc. But first we need to drill our hole for our headphone jack, and there's a little circle on the back of the toy which is a great place to drill our hole through, and we're going to fish our 3.5mm headphone jack through and secure it with a zip tie. The zip tie is there just in case a child were to pull on the cord, it doesn't yank it out, so make sure it's nice and snug, and you can go ahead and remove any excess zip tie. So now we need to prep our headphone jack wires. Now what we need to do is just to put a little bit of solder on each of those wires, and this will just make it easier for us when we're actually securing it to the circuit board. So here's the circuit board, and there's a little disc where we're actually going to solder our wires. And you can see that there's two little nodes that we're going to apply a little bit of solder to, and this will allow us to secure our wire to that circuit board. You can do without these, but we just find it's a little easier to secure these wires when there's a little solder actually on the board. So we're going to heat up that solder with the wire and just give it a second to cool, and you'll be set. Now what's important here is that we don't want to get any wire or any solder cross over to the other half of that disc, or else the toy will constantly go off. Before we put the toy back together, we want to make sure that everything is functioning properly, so go ahead and give your button a press, and if everything works, then we're good to put it all back together. If your purple heart fell out during the build process, go ahead and reinsert it and then re-secure the circuit board. Go ahead and reinstall the arms and the back plate. We want to make sure that we don't pinch any wires, so it may take a little time to get everything into place. Once you do, you can secure the back with the screw in the battery compartment and in the top of the neck, and the two screws in the bottom. Once you got all the screws back in place, we need to reinstall the head. So we need to reheat up the rubber on the head just for a few seconds, and that will make it pliable enough that we can just push the head back onto the toy and it will snap into place.
Switched. Adapted toys. Making play possible.
For more information and additional how-to videos, visit us online at www.switchtoys.org.